State of the Sun Devils with Jeremy Schnell, Jesse Morrison, and Mitch Bareldes, an Arizona Sports podcast.
Welcome into another edition of State of the Sun Devils. Jesse Morrison here with Damon Allred for Arizona Sports. We're out at Camp T after the final practice, the final scrimmage in front of the fans, and it was pretty great out here, pretty lively. Damon, what were your thoughts on the Camp T vibes, atmosphere out here on this open scrimmage with all the fans?
Yeah, pretty solid turnout for the fans. We heard that people started coming up as early as 5:30 a.m. And, turns out we got about 1,000 or 2,000 people to come up, coming off 2 straight seasons of 3 wins. And so I think all things considered, pretty great turnout and lively vibe at points too.
Yeah, definitely a lively vibe at points. There were fans that were up this hill that's next to the field, kind of hidden in trees, which means that there's kind of too many seats here. Like there's too many people here, so you've got to go, and expand the amount of people, the amount of areas that are, available to.
You're saying Camp T is the next NIL project?
Correct, maybe, yeah, maybe, but
Get some
there's
seating here.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that would be cool, but it's it's a nature place. You got to keep the vibes like the vibes are. So yeah, people hid up in the bushes, basically hid up in the trees because there wasn't enough space available. So that was cool. A lot of players stayed after, signed autographs, took pictures with fans. There was a cool moment where Trenton Bourguet's family and a booster they have gotten close to put up some signs that said like thank you to Trenton. So that was another cool part about the vibes out here. And it just feels kind of like going to a different time. I feel like it's such a tradition. It kind of just feels like going back to like a camp that you would hear about your parents going to, and I think it's a great tradition. And Kenny Dillingham talked about how they went all the way up the mountain yesterday, which last year they went only up to the halfway point. So, and that was done not by Kenny Dillingham, it was done by the players. So it was definitely came off as a really good bonding experience for these guys. And I said I saw a player run by me at the end of practice. I was like, "You ready to leave?" And he was like, "No, I love it here," or something like that. So yeah, the vibes were really cool, but we got to get down to the football, Damon, and especially, the number one topic that is on everyone's mind: who's going to start for this team? Sam Leavitt, Jeff Sims. They both played a lot today. You got to see a lot of what they can do in 11-on-11 in full pads. I mean, they weren't getting hit, obviously.
Everyone else was getting hit.
Everyone else was getting hit, though, taken to the ground, too,
Mm-hmm.
which was cool to watch in a practice. I thought they were a bit shaky, and I'll get into that, but I wanted to first get your thoughts on the performances of both of the quarterbacks.
Yeah, so I think we've seen over the fall camp so far that the quarterback competition has been at varying points of closeness. And I think that right now it's starting to get even closer where Jeff Sims is starting to stake a little bit of a claim. I don't think he's to Sam Leavitt's level yet. And Kenny talked about how Sam had one of his best days of camp so far today. He did have a few mistakes. Neither quarterback was perfect in the scrimmage setting. A couple turnovers, especially for Sims. I think Leavitt was able to put his first turnover behind him and mostly be smooth sailing from there, aside from like a few hiccups. But we saw a lot of receivers make some plays. Malik McClain got in there and made some plays. We saw Shimon Mateer make a pretty nice end zone grab. So lots to like about what we saw in the scrimmages.
Yeah, QB-wise with me, I thought that, I agree with you. I thought that when we were watching it, it was definitely a narrowing gap. But then after practice, we asked, did they have a good day? And Kenny said, Sam had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was very interesting. So keep an eye on that. I do think we saw most of, first team reps, Sam Leavitt getting those first team reps. I do think that he's going to be the starter for this team. I still do. He had the throw of the day, in my opinion. Now, Trenton Bourguet had a really good throw, but the wide receiver was wide open. But Sam, he rolled out to his left. He's a righty, threw across his body for a tight window completion. I thought that was the best throw of the day. Jeff with the 2 turnovers, that's where for me, he's thrown a lot of interceptions going back to Nebraska, going back to Georgia Tech. I think for this team, it's important for them to not turn the ball over because I'm just so unsure about this defense. I think it will be good, but I'm not 100% sure. So I just think that definitely Sam is the guy at the moment. And I think that what Dillingham said after practice today, after the scrimmage, was a bit telling into what might end up eventually happening. And the fact that Jeff continues to take reps with the 2s.
Yeah. And then moving on from the quarterbacks as well into the running backs. We saw Cam Scattaboo get a lot of attention today. And every time he touched the ball, it seemed like he made something good happen. Some of the other ones that got first-team reps were DeCarlos Brooks, Kyson Brown. You really can't speak highly enough about ASU's running back group, I don't think. And when you talk to the guys, they understand how deep of a room it is. They know that no matter who's out onto the field, someone is going to be making plays. And so I think that that's going to be so key, no matter who ends up winning the quarterback competition. Just having such a good running back behind them, having multiple good running backs behind them is going to help so much.
Yeah, and I've said multiple times, run the damn ball. This is what this team has to do. They've got 4 or 5, maybe even 6 running backs like that could see carries. The only issue with the running back room is how do you spread them out amongst these guys because they're all so good. And, I think that going back just a little bit to the quarterbacks, I think that Sam's ability, which he showed today to run too, kind of leads into why I think he might be the guy because he's able to add to that. Like, not only
Sims can run too.
Yeah, true. But Sam had the more impressive day running the ball. That's what I'm saying is like Sam's really good at kind of like taking off when he needs to. And I think, to have that added element is going to be, really beneficial. And so, maybe you have like the 4 main running backs plus Sam. You're going to run the ball a lot with this team. Defensively, Damon, what did you see out of this team?
I saw a team that was pretty consistently stopping the offense. Almost every single drive ended in a stop. I know Leavitt ended up throwing some touchdowns, Bourget as well, but a lot of drives today ended with stops, whether it be punts or takeaways. And we've heard Dillingham say so far through camp, hasn't been a ton of takeaways, but today to see the defense come up with quite a few takeaways, I think it was really nice to see them become as opportunistic as we think they can be.
Takeaways are going to be important with this team. I agree with you there. I think that was really good to see. Again, don't really know. I can't really gauge this defensive line because I think this running back room is really strong. They go against a team that's maybe not as strong. I think they're a lot better, but like they kind of get taken down by the ASU running backs. I think the offensive line has gotten better too. That's something that I noticed out there today. There was a couple times where Sam was under pressure that I saw, or maybe just once. But overall, I think the offensive line's got better. Now they've got to stay healthy.
Health is so important with this line, yeah.
Overall, I think it's a better looking group at this time this year than it was last year. I think that is big.
Yeah, and for there to be 3 weeks till the Wyoming Week 1 opening night from Camp T scrimmage date, I think you just have the right momentum going forward through the rest of fall camp about this team has the culture established. It knows what the identity that it wants to be. I think it's just going to be so good to see it develop over these next 3 weeks and over the course of the season because I think the team really has a chance to surprise some people, I think.
Now, something important I think that this team needs to do is make sure that the camaraderie and what happened here at camp translates back to when you get to Tempe, when you get back away from each other. Like, when they come together, they got to make sure that, the leaders on this team, the coaching staff has to make sure that the vibes are still the same. And if they aren't that like that, somebody needs to be like, hey, where are those Camp T vibes?
Yeah.
So that I think is really important. Damon, do you have anything else before we wrap it up here?
I don't. I think that it was a great day. It sounds like they had a great camp, and so yeah, I hope this pays dividends.
I hope this continues on for years and years and years. Talked to a booster today who has been coming here since 1962, has not missed a Camp T. So that was really cool to learn. So it's definitely important to the fans. I think it's important to Kenny. I think it's becoming important to the players. So hopefully they can keep this beautiful place going for many years to come. It is, honestly wish they play here all the time, but they unfortunately can't. All right, for Damon Allred, I'm Jesse Morrison. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at AZ Sports Devils, or X if you want to call it that. On Instagram, same thing, AZ Sports Devils. On Threads, we have a Threads.
We have Threads?
Yeah, AZ Sports Devils. YouTube channel, Arizona Sports. This will be up some point. So make sure to watch all of the content on Arizona Sports, not just us. All the great podcasts and show clips and everything that Jeremy, Schnell, and Felisa are putting up. So, yeah, for Damon Allred, I'm Jesse Morrison saying bye from Camp T.